Hello, fellow collectors. Frank here, back with another TTM Success video. TTM standing for Through the Mail Success Autographs. I got 6 in the box so far this week. 5 successes and 1 fail. Wah, wah. So let's get right out of here. I'm going to start with the fail, then I'll move through my successes here. I hope you're having a good week. First, we have the dreaded failure. This is an 0 for 2 in 6 days out of Baltimore, Maryland. This is from Mr. Evidently, as his nickname is. I came to find out recently. His nickname is Mr. Evidently. And this is Harold Baines. Sent me 2 cards, and I knew he took them out of it because they were hanging out. I did not put him that way. So I sent a 81 Topps and a 92 Flair. And I put $20 in the envelope as well, but evidently he did not want to sign my card. So why is he called Mr. Evidently? I was watching a video recently from the great Hall of Fame catcher Cortland Fisk. He said back when they played for the White Sox together, he was a quiet guy, Harold, but they were playing at Old Comiskey Park. It was the bottom of the 9th. It was cold, maybe like 1-1 tie, dark, and everybody was tired. And Harold Baines comes to the plate and he hits it so hard. He hits a ball so hard. No one can hit a ball anywhere. He can't even get it off the out of the infield. And Harold hits a ball, doesn't even get 12 feet off the ground, and goes just to the right of center field over the fence. And everybody's like, "Whoa, how could that happen? We're trying to get on base, and and he hits it over the fence." So after the game, Carlton recalls that he was being interviewed, looking for a soundbite by the journalist, and some guy asked him, nobody else makes a comment, nobody gets any hits, how'd you get a hit? You must really have hit the ball hard. And looks the guy straight in the face and just says,
Evidently.
Evidently. So, evidently, Harold Baines did not want to sign my cards. I put $20 in there. I thought that was the fee, but beside the point. I went on too far about a fail there, but I thought I would share that story about who Mr. Evidently is. Well, let's get to the successes now. We have a 1 for 1 in 11 days. $2 fee out of Santa Clarita, California. We have Mr. Danny Tartable on the 1987 Topps All-Star Rookie Cup card. That is looking quite nice there. I like that on the Rookie Cup card quite a bit. I have some questions. I'll get to those in a minute. Let's see if we can zoom in for a little bit for you there. This is Danilo Tartable. He was born October 30th, 1962 in San Juan, Puerto Rico. He's 58. Danny was a 6'1", right-handed, swinging, throwing right fielder, DH that played 14 seasons in the majors, 84 to 97. He played with the Seattle Mariners, Kansas City Royals, New York Yankees, and last few years of his career with the Oakland Athletics, Chicago White Sox, and he played a couple games for the Philadelphia Phillies. He was initially drafted by the Cincinnati Reds in the 3rd round of the 1980 MLB draft out of Carroll City High School. That's in Miami Gardens, Florida. Mr. Tartable, he's son of former major leaguer Jose Tartable, who played with the Kansas City Athletics and the Boston Red Sox in the 60s. So growing up during the baseball season, the family lived wherever Jose was playing ball. They spent winters in South Florida. Danny's earliest memories were romping in the ballpark in Winter Haven during spring training. As a son of a former ball player, Danny learned the game of baseball at a very early age. During the summer of '67, the Tartables lived in Brookline, Massachusetts, while Jose played for my home team, the Boston Red Sox, and that's the impossible dream pennant-winning year. They would often see there was a nearby park near the residence where Jose often was seen playing catch with the 4-year-old Danny. So, the youngster Danny Tartable developed his skills on the sandlots of Miami. Sometimes he played in the 3 leagues at once, and he had some really big teammates here. On his Little League team included Jose and Ozzie Canseco, Rafael Palmeiro, and Junior Valdez Pino. Danny was the star above all the rest, perhaps due to learning the game at such a young age. So Danny was in the majors. He was an all-star one time in '91 with the Royals. He was a career .273 hitter, hit 262 bombs, had 925 RBIs, and you might remember him as well. He was in a couple episodes in the 90s of Seinfeld and one episode of Married with Children, so should check that out. It was watch a short of one of the, they had a Seinfeld short of one where George was giving some tips to Danny about his swing, and he kind of screwed up his swing apparently, and he convinced manager Buck Showalter, George Costanza, to change the uniform to cotton. So I thought that was pretty funny. And he answered some questions as well, which I always do appreciate. Who was your favorite teammate or teammates? He was friends with Bernie Williams of the Yankees and Willie Wilson. He played with him with the Royals. The toughest pitcher he had success against, he says, the Rocket Roger. He did hit a couple home runs off of him, 8 RBIs. He did only hit 182, but he did hit a couple homers off of Roger. That's always great. Do you have any hobbies? What do you like to do? He likes to golf. So thank you very much, Mr. Tartable. I do appreciate it. Next in the box, we got a 2-for-1 in 13 days. $8 fee out of who knows where, but you'll see in the back here. This is out of Provo, Utah. And you see who that is there. That's Mr. Vern Law on this 1954 Topps reprint. And he has the subscription here, Cy Young and World Series champion 1960. Nice signature there, looking quite nice. And he also did this index card. I love how he listed all this stuff. Vern Law, Pittsburgh Pirates, 50-67, Cy Young and World Series champ. New York versus New York Yankees, 1960, won the Lou Gehrig Award, Comeback Player of the Year, 1965, two-time All-Star, 1960. So that is cool. Cool. I did send to him before. I did get a nice father and son card signed a while back. So with a note that he was still looking for some donations for his other son. Not Vance. Vance signed that card as well, but his other son apparently has cancer and is looking for an $8 donation for a card sign. So this is Vernon Sanders Law. They call him the Deacon. He was born March 12th, 1930 in Meridian, Idaho. He is coming up on his 91st birthday, so happy premature birthday here coming up soon. So happy birthday, Mr. Law. He was nicknamed the Deacon because he was a deacon in the Mormon faith. By the age of 12, Vernon was a deacon in the church, and by 19, an elder. He was a 6'2" right-handed throwing pitcher, mostly a starter that played 16 seasons in the majors, 50-67 with the Pirates. He missed 2 years of his major league service due to serving in the Army during the Korean War. He's based out of Fort Eustis, Virginia, which had an active baseball program. He mostly played first base rather than pitch for the base team while missing the 52 and 53 seasons. While in the service, he played with or against some greats of the game, Willie Mays, Johnny Antonelli, and Don Newcomb, as well as teammate Dick Rote. He originally was signed by the Pirates in 1948 out of high school. He was offered a modest $2,000 bonus to sign, but the deciding factor may have come when his mother received a call from Bing Crosby, the singer and a partial owner of the Pirates. He promised that Vernon would receive the best treatment with the Pirates and also promised an expense-paid trip to the World Series if Vernon and the Pirates ever made it that far. 13 years later, the Pirates made good on that promise. It probably did not hurt that the Pirates also signed Vernon's brother Evan to a minor league contract. So in 1960, he, like it says on his card here, he was a two-time All-Star that year when they played 2 All-Star games. He won the NL Cy Young Award, and they, of course, won the World Series. Although he's hampered by a sprained ankle in the World Series, Law won games 1 and 4 and started this historic 7th game on 3 days rest. He was a career 162 and 147 with a 3.77 ERA. So thank you very much, Mr. Law. I do appreciate it. Next in the box here, we have a 2-for-1 in 17 days, no fee, out of Shreveport, Louisiana. We have Mr. Jim Willis. We have him here on the 1954 Topps reprint right above the facsimile autograph. And he signed the index card as well, which I do appreciate. This is James Gladden Willis, and he did answer some questions I'll get to. James Gladden Willis, he was born March 20th, 1927 in Doyline, Louisiana. He is coming up on his 94th birthday next month. He was a 6'3", right-handed throw-in, left-handed bat and pitcher that played 2 seasons in the majors, 53-54, with the Cubbies, the Chicago Cubs. He wore number 28 with the Cubs. Before playing pro ball, Willis served with the U.S. Army in World War II in Germany from 1945 to 46 and attended Northwestern State University of Louisiana. So thank you for your service, Mr. Willis, and also Mr. Law as well. Thank you for your service as well. He was a 2-sport standout at Northwestern State, baseball and basketball, and was part of the 1948-49 Northwestern State basketball team that reached the national semifinals under legendary coach H. Lee Prather. Willis started out in 1949 with the Cubs Class A-C Alexandria Aces, with those 2 major league years in 53 and 54, and played until 1957 with the Double-A Shreveport Sports. The 1952, the year before he made the majors with the Shreveport Sport, was his finest season in his pro career, as he went 16-11 with 2.72 ERA and 261 in his pitch. And I have those stats up here of minor and majors, so you could see that. Over 2 major league seasons, Willis posted a 2-2 record with a 3.39 ERA and 27 appearances, included 4 starts and 2 complete games. He struck out 20. So, and he did answer some questions here for me, which I always do appreciate. I asked Mr. Willis, who was your favorite teammate? And that would be Hal Jeffcoat. So Hal Jeffcoat was a 2-way player, an outfielder and pitcher that played most of his career with the Chicago Cubs in the 50s. And I asked him, what's the most memorable game he played in? He said his first, and he made his major league debut on the afternoon of Wednesday, April 22nd, 1953, versus the Milwaukee Braves at Wrigley Field in Chicago. He pitched 2 innings of relief to close out a 15-6 loss to the Braves, allowing 2 earned runs and 3 hits. And interesting about Mr. Willis, he was a school principal after his major league career, and he wrote a book called My Baseball Story. So thank you very much, Mr. Willis. I do appreciate it. Next in the box here, we have a 1-for-1 in 7 days, a $10 donation from Santa Ana, California. We have Mr. Jim Palmer, Hall of Famer Jim Palmer, on this 1981 Topps for the set. We got James Elvin Palmer, nicknamed Cakes, for his habit of always eating pancakes on the morning of his starts. He was born October 15th, 1945 in New York, New York. He's 75. He was a 6'3" right-handed starting pitcher that played 19 seasons in the majors, 65 to 84 with the Baltimore Orioles. His entire career. He was a 3-time Cy Young Award winner in 73, 75, and 76, a 3-time World Series champion, 6-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove Award winner, 2-time ERA leader. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1990. As you see the stats there, Palmer attained 20 wins in 8 times his major league career, Only Warren Spahn, 13 times, and Lefty Grove, 8 times, has matched his feat among post-1920 Major League pitchers. He was a career 268 and 152, had a 2.86 ERA, struck out 2,212 batters and 3,948 innings pitched. Whoops. And he had 211 complete games. He went the distance quite a bit. So thank you very much, Mr. Palmer. I do appreciate it. Last but not least, we got a 1-for-1 in 22 days, $7 donation out of St. Louis, Missouri. We have Mr. Sonny Siebert. And that's on a 1973 Topps. Some questions that I will get to in just a moment. This is Wilfred Charles Siebert, goes by the name Sonny. He was born January 14th, 1937 in St. Mary, Missouri. Just turned 84. Happy birthday, Mr. Siebert. He was a 6'3" right-handed pitcher, mostly started, that played 12 seasons in the majors, 1964 to 75, with the bulk of his career with the Cleveland Indians in 64 to 69 and the Boston Red Sox 69 to 73. And he played the remainder of his career, last couple of years of career, with the Texas Rangers, St. Louis Cardinals, San Diego Padres, and Oakland Athletics. He was a 2-time All-Star. He was a career 140 and 114 with a 3.21 ERA. Struck out 1,512 batters and 2,152 innings pitched. And he did answer a few questions, which I always appreciate that. And what I asked him was, who was your favorite teammate? A Red Sox teammate, specifically, I asked him. So, I'm interested in the Red Sox. I'm interested in all of baseball, but Bill the Spaceman Lee. Who wouldn't be a favorite teammate of Bill Lee? And I asked him, toughest batter you had success against. He had quite a bit of success versus Mickey Mantle. And I'll pop up some stats there. And the last question, most memorable game, was a no-hitter. So, he pitched a no-hitter on the evening of Friday, June 10th, 1966, the Cleveland Indians versus the Washington Senators at Cleveland Stadium. Apparently before the game, he was kidding. His wife was kidding about being bombed in recent outings, and he sarcastically remarked to his wife, "Promise you'll get off my back, and I'll pitch a no-hitter." And he did. He followed through with it. I don't know if his wife got off his back, but he pitched a no-hitter. Only 2 Senators reached base during the entire walk and on the error. He struck out 7 and was the beneficiary of fine plays in the field by third baseman Max Elvis and Chico Salmon, the shortstop. And it was the 11th no-hitter in Cleveland Indians history, so he was with the Indians. And I said what his career already, how well he did. So thank you very much, Mr. Siebert. I do appreciate it. So thank you for joining me today. I do appreciate it. I want to thank Mr. Danny Tartable, Mr. Vern Law, Mr. Jim Willis, Mr. Jim Palmer, and Mr. Sonny Siebert. And evidently, I'll be sending this Harold Baines back out. Probably I got to get this one here as rookie card. I don't know. Maybe he just didn't want to sign it because of 2 cards. If anybody knows anything about that, let me know. Well, I hope you all have a good day. Take care. God bless. Peace.
Evidently.